Hey everybody, this is Diane. Welcome back to Biters. I think we're finally getting it dialed in, knock on wood.
And we're all by ourselves.
Yeah, no
No Phil.
Phil. No Phil
Yeah,
to hold our hands this time.
I know. I'm a little nervous.
Shh.
Right? Because we actually decided to give Skype one last try since we were actually having some issues with StreamYard
Oh my
after
god.
Phil
So
helped us.
it worked totally fine when Phil invited us into his StreamYard studio. I can't even
hmm
remember which one of us was running the StreamYard studio when we practiced on Saturday, and it kept dropping us. So, yeah, no bueno.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what is wrong with yeah, I guess we do make fun of Putin and Scientology way too much.
We do, because you
They're out
just
to get us.
you just bleeped out a little bit there. So, but I know that you said
Oh
Putin and
no.
Scientology. So,
See? Exactly.
I just have to say, not to curse us, but I want to tell folks in advance, I am on call tonight for the clinic for which I work, and I have to answer the phone if it rings. So, and I also can't turn my ringer off. So if I get any texts or anything, you all are going to be privy to that. Obviously, for patient confidentiality, if I get a patient phone call, we're going to stop. I'll take the call and then I'll call Marnell back and we'll finish the podcast. But let's just all say a little prayer to whomever that I don't get any calls because I'm really tired. And I'll explain a little more in Housewives Housekeeping about why, in fact, that is.
Yeah, and I'm a little tired too. So, but we are pushing through. We are going to do this podcast. This is a great episode.
I think we're actually. I probably didn't rate it as high as you, but I'm much closer in agreement with you.
Well, and you were the one that told me initially that you really liked this episode.
I actually did.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've said that. I have become
Yes,
such
it
a
has.
doubter.
Who are you and what have you done with Diane?
I know. It must have been the Fat Tire bike ride on Sunday.
I love that one of your friends posted the Fat Tire beer.
Right? It was Charlie.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Ugh,
All
that
right.
beer's so
So,
gross.
did you say that beer is so gross?
It is.
I don't drink anymore, but it's a good thing I don't because I won't waste any money on it now.
It's got a really skunky aftertaste.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
just not my thing. Anyway,
Okay, so we are talking about season 11, episode 10, New Haunts. So, I'm going to let you rate it first.
okay. So like I said, I really liked this episode. I rated it at 3.75 paparazzi. Yeah, it was a pretty good episode.
I am floored. Oh, go ahead.
I think this episode should have been our season 11B intro. We said last time when we podcast that should have been season 11A's finale. And I really think that they broke season A and B up in the wrong spots.
And I know they had to do it for evenness of numbers, but I agree.
Did they have to, though?
Did they?
It's their network.
Really?
Anyway.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm shocked I actually rated it quite a bit higher than you did.
Oh, wow.
I gave it 4.327 sad Halloween costumes out of 5. Especially Judith's little sad witch hat.
Right. I also kind of looked at a lot of the costumes, especially the little Mercer costume, and I was like,
Really?
it's adorably homespun, but yeah, it was it was a little hokey, but
I did have to.
I'm okay with it.
I had to remind myself that Halloween costumes were probably not a priority when it came to preserving things after the apocalypse. So,
Oh, but Chanel handbags were?
well, I
Yumiko or not? Yeah,
guess.
Yumiko had a Chanel handbag. I
If you're
swear.
Yumiko.
Those were definitely some Vera Wang dresses, some tailored Armani suits. Like, there was some definite bling going on at that ball.
I
So,
was
like,
gonna say, don't get me started on Pamela Milton, but you will shortly. So,
the little kids had like spray painted colanders for, like
yes, our own little Mercer.
super adorable. But like, I look back at like, so I'm a very young Gen X. Like, I'm on the cusp of millennial, and even I remember like the old Halloween costumes, like the plastic masks, and like I was Shira. I vividly remember the Shira costume, and it was like so plasticky.
Oh, are you talking about She-Ra?
Yes.
Not,
And
it's not She-Ra, baby. It's She-Ra. You are right on the cusp of Gen X.
I was very, very young when I watched it, and I did not enjoy the reboot.
I didn't even know there was a reboot.
Oh, it's a totally different style of animation, and I don't think it does it justice. Anyway, but like, I look back at the pictures of our Halloweens when we were little kids, and like,
Oh, those
our
god awful
faces.
hard plastic masks
Yes.
and soft plastic outfits that went with the masks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then like painting your face like that grease paint green with the witch nose, and no, so these kids like I get where they're coming from. Like, I that's why I'm okay with their little Halloween costumes, is I was like, yeah, been there.
Sorry, I'm totally
It's okay.
texting.
I actually went as a hobo one year. I was really, really sick and didn't have I was like 8. So hence the word hobo, which is not a PC term anymore, but that's what I was when I was 8. And I remember we like took some like stick glue, like not like hard glue, like it wasn't.
Oh,
gonna
I
stick
remember what glue you're talking about.
Yeah, we took stick glue and rubbed it on my face, and then put coffee grounds on my face to make it look like I had stubble. It was
Oh my
actually kind
God.
of genius.
See, you and I could totally make it in the zombie apocalypse as Halloween costuming people.
Right? Yeah.
All right. I am going to move us forward a little bit because, again, we're both exhausted. And at the rate that we're going, because this is going so well, knock on wood, we could go all night.
We could. And I have to say that I am wired tired, so you definitely are gonna have to rein me in on this one.
Okay, I'm going to rein you in because I also owe somebody a phone call tonight, so.
Okay.
I know. Here we are.
Let's keep rolling then.
Let's keep rolling. All right, the numbers. So there were 1.6 million views same day. We don't need to go into whether or not that's accurate. We're just going to say what it is. And it is a 7.8 on IMDb. So folks who rated it on IMDb didn't like it as much as I did. Or
Right?
even really as much as you did.
No. Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, because there were episodes that we have not liked very much that have been rated really high.
Yeah, like the last episode is still rated a 9.0 on IMDb. And like I said, while I didn't not enjoy it, it wasn't great. Like, for me, it really just moved the story along a whole lot, so it was important. So I couldn't dislike it.
So we decided that since this is our podcast, we can swear, right?
Sure.
What the actual fuck? How can that episode be 9?
I know. I think like everyone was just, I don't know. I don't know if they're just excited for the last season, or like that we have like 24 episodes this season. Yeah. I think they went a little overboard on that one.
I don't understand. All right. The title. So I kind of thought New Haunts definitely referred to Halloween, or at least, that's the way that it worked in my heart. And then, You know, I also think of a haunt as a hangout.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe these are like new hangouts for our people.
We saw just about everyone's new haunt. You know, we got to look at the Commonwealth. We got to look at where Daryl and Rosita are staying, which is terrible, and we will go into it. And then we got to look at like Carol's pad, and it's not bad. I don't know how that works.
We even got stuff like we finally saw Magna for the first time in a really long time, and we didn't see where she's living, but we saw where she's working.
You know, I mean, if it's like we'll go into it, but it's like I feel like Rosita and Daryl are kind of living in like kind of a barracks kind of household.
I think so too.
And I feel like they're gonna like have Magna like shoehorned into like this one room shared bathroom dormitory. Yes. You know?
And like, not as bad as where Daryl and Rosita are, but not great.
Not as good as Carol, where Carol is. Like, Carol's got a kind of sweet pad for a cookie maker.
Maybe Pamela Milton has a sweet tooth.
Maybe. She obviously does not respect her law enforcement, though.
And she's so thin and so sharp. You wouldn't think that she eats a lot of sweets, but there we are.
You know, there are just some people that can get away with it.
True.
I am not one of them, but...
Me either. All right. Our writer was a gentleman named Magali Lozano. I hope I am saying his name right. This is the first ever writer's credit he has, period, for anything.
Holy moly.
And you know, it really was a pretty good episode.
I think so.
So, I did kind of look back at other stuff that he's done, and he's been with the series since 2016. So, my gosh, that's 6 years. And he's worked as a writer's assistant, and he has worked as an assistant directly to Angela Kang.
So I mean, he knows the series, so that it definitely showed in the writing.
I thought so too. I did. I thought it was pretty clean.
Yeah.
So.
Could you imagine, like, kind of having the honor of being the writer that introduces you to our last big bad in the series?
Oh, that's pretty cool thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad for your first writing credit, dude.
Right? Our director is John Amiel. He's the director from last week's episode as well, so I didn't go back and research all of his stuff. We would encourage you to go back and listen to the last episode of Biters. And then...
Phil and I kind of geeked out on a couple of movies he worked on.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. And then Marn and I decided at the very last minute that we would briefly talk about the actress who plays Pamela Milton, because we did not do a featured cast last week. So her name is Layla Robbins. And
man, does her IMDb go back. 1987.
And I mean, stuff that I remember, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I couldn't pick her out as the actress who was in that because it's been so long since I've watched it. But my goodness, John Candy. And who else? Steve Martin, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I remember True Crime. That was a Christian Slater movie.
Yes, it was. Oh God. I love Kristen Slater.
Her trademark is that she often plays poised, polished career women.
So she was also recently in a miniseries called Dr. Death, which yes, it's based on the true crime podcast Dr. Death.
Boy, and if you haven't listened to that and you like true crime, watch it or listen to it. I'm sorry. Also watch the show. I actually want to say that I did watch the show as well. There is a Walking Dead connection. Remember?
Well, I don't, but I was going to say Christian Slater is also in that too. So she
Oh my
kind of comes
gosh.
full circle with that career.
How funny. So
What's the Walking Dead connection?
The Walking Dead connection is that the daughter who ended up killing the creepy boyfriend, Dr. Death, right?
Uh-huh, that's right.
Was like, I learned how to do this by watching The Walking Dead.
That's right. That is right. Wow. So I think there's 2 seasons of Dr. Death.
There are 2 seasons, yeah.
Yeah. So Christian Slater
was Layla in the first one? Because I think she was actually in the one that the Dr. Death, that the original the original person was portrayed in. Or was she in the second season?
I think so too. Well, I cannot remember if it was the first season or I think it was the second season, but it was with Christian Slater and Joshua Jackson.
Okay,
Baldwin.
then she was in the second one because Christian Slater was not in the first season. That's the only season I've watched.
Yeah. Both very, very good seasons, but a really, really good show. She is also in the TV series The Boys, which we have podcasted with Phil.
Oh, you know,
yes.
I believe season 3 is about to come out.
It is. I sent you and Phil the trailer for it. It looks so good.
I'm so tired.
I just have to go totally off script and nerd out for a second. I should find it again. Somebody put Zelensky in a Captain America suit.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Captain
awesome.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we are squarely in the corner of Zelensky and the Ukrainians. So if you are not, you probably want to unplug now.
Yeah.
We are so squarely in the corner. I just spent $110 on a singlet to powerlift in that is the Ukrainian national singlet.
But it's also a really nice singlet.
It is a really nice singlet. The colors are awesome. The design is great. What a ridiculous life. Oh my god. All right. So,
what's funny is she has this strange symmetry in her career. Like I said, she started out with Christian Slater and she's done something recently with Christian Slater. But she was also in a very early episode of the TV series The Equalizer in 1988. I don't know if you ever watched it or remember it or anything.
Was that the guy who played the $6 Million Man?
I believe it was, yes. Let me look at the older one.
Lee Horseman?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
COVID brain.
But she was also in the reboot 2021, The Equalizer.
Oh my goodness.
So she just has this weird symmetry in her career that is kind of amazing.
So, and I do want to say, and I'm going to say what I said to you before we signed on, I hope that amazing is true, because the little snippet that I saw when she was kind of being welcomed into the Walking Dead family, she was very much Pamela Milton, and she was kind of like, it's so glorious to be part of the Walking Dead family. And I was like, oh God, I hope that's not what you're like in real life.
I have not seen it. I will have to seek it out, but I really hope that it's kind of an act that she's putting on. It's almost like she's staying in character for her interviews or something. I can't imagine that she would have such a long and storied career and kind of be that
obnoxious. But yeah. I mean, then Harvey Weinstein. So, you know.
Yeah. She has been in every incarnation of Law and Order. So Law and Order, Law and Order Criminal Intent, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. She's been in one episode of everything. Sopranos, Witchblade, Sex in the City, All My Children. She had a 3-time reoccurring role on that. The Blacklist, Gabriel's Fire, Bored to Death. Like, she has been
Oh my
in
gosh, she was even in The
everything.
Handmaid's Tale.
Oh,
Which I
thought
got,
I did see that.
I got a little bit into that, but I read the book when it first came out and I was like, I can't do it.
Oh,
It's too much. I can't do it.
She is oh, what's her name? The wife's mom, Serena Joy. She's Serena Joy's mom, Pamela Joy. That's right. Huh.
My goodness, she does have a long and storied career. I finally got onto the IMDb portion that shows what she's done. Holy cow, Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael. Wasn't that a Winona Ryder movie?
Christian Slater and Winona Ryder. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep. Wow, that takes me back.
That's pretty funny. We're really dating ourselves now. Okay, well, I am going to be gracious and say welcome Layla Robbins to the Walking Dead family, and I hope that Layla is lovely and not Pamela.
We are going to love to hate Pamela.
Right, but not Layla.
Right.
Well, I don't have a ton in Whisperer's Corner. It's kind of a bummer. So, I don't know if you heard, but Moses Mosley, an actor who played one of Michonne's pet zombies, was found dead a couple of weeks ago. And they were basically saying, we're not going to say anything more than it's being investigated because the circumstances are suspicious. And then the article that I read today, it was a gunshot wound to the head. They are not saying whether it was self-inflicted, but very, very, very sad.
Yeah.
This is cutting it a little close and it's a little gossipy. So, folks, if this is a turnoff for you, please send us some information or send us some feedback on the Biters Facebook page because it feels a little invasive. But basically, Norman Reedus's kid was charged with assault and took a plea deal. Yeah.
Not related to the
right. Oh my god, that was terrible. You're right. You're right.
Terrible segue.
That was a terrible segue. Oh my god, not even remotely related to Moses Mosley. Oh my god.
Okay, good.
Speaking of Norman Reedus, so he ended up having a concussion on set. Yes. And it also caused him to miss Fandemic. He had to pull out of Fandemic, which is the I guess the new horror / Walking Dead con. We were supposed to go, and then COVID hit, and it took forever to get our money back from them, quite frankly.
Yeah, you said new, and I was like, no, wait, we were supposed to go to that.
I think they're just finally, this is the first one that they've been able to pull off.
Yeah.
So for our friends who went, I hope you had a good time. I'm sorry Norman Reedus wasn't there. Yeah.
Though, I mean, we both know that head injuries are nothing to take lightly. So
even what people would say is just a concussion because concussions can be very serious.
Right. And so we're really glad he's doing okay and hope that he continues to take care of himself because
that's what I was thinking because he seems like somebody who would push through and brush it off, and I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, and he's a very active actor that probably does a lot of his own stunts, and once you have one head injury like that, you're more susceptible, and so just please be careful, Norman Reedus, we love you.
All right, my last piece of news for Whisperer's Corner. So apparently Jeffrey Dean Morgan was just as shocked as the rest of us that he and Maggie have plot armor and that there's a spinoff.
So was he shocked about it, or was he shocked that they let it be known?
The article that I read said that he questions the fact that they that they committed a spoiler and created plot armor. So,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I think I'm sure he knew.
Yeah.
I think he was just bummed out that AMC blew it, and now we
We are
know
right
now we
there
know of
with
4
you,
characters
JDM.
who are not going to die, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we are right there with you, JDM. Like that has been one of my bigger gripes about the whole series is like stop doing that, stop giving people plot armor like that, at least until you can help it, because I know at some point they're gonna be filming or casting or scouting for filming areas or what, and it's gonna get out like that. You're not gonna be able to keep it a secret right up until the premiere of the show or anything, but like at least wait until, I don't know, season 11B is over with.
At least wait until season 11 is over with.
Yeah, like I would hope, but
all right, do you have anything for Whisperer's Corner?
I do not.
My dog is trying to cough up a hairball, it sounds like. But
okay, that was also me. I feel like I'm trying to cough up a hairball, so
I feel like I'm trying to
I'm
cough
really
up a
hoping
hairball too.
I really hope my mute on my microphone is working, but because for some reason it does not work in, I think, Teams.
Oh, how interesting.
Because I have a mute button on my microphone, and then you can also mute it, in the application itself.
Right.
And I have to mute the application on Teams because the mute button doesn't work.
Interesting. All right. So
I'm sorry if you hear me cough up a hairball.
I have some housekeeping. So the last time we recorded, I was like, I have a cold. I'm really sorry. My boyfriend has a cold and I caught it from him and he's COVID negative and everything's fine. I'm fine. You guys, I got diagnosed with COVID a little over a week ago. And I'm doing okay. I did have a little freak out when I did home tests. I actually did 2 because I didn't believe the first one, because why would I, a science-loving healthcare professional, actually trust a test? And I had a little freak out. Beautiful boyfriend came over and let me cry it out. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
You called me at like 3:00 on a work day, and I was like, I immediately answered my phone because it was like, what's wrong?
I was like, I'm so embarrassed that I'm such a wreck. And he was like, it's been a boogeyman for a long time. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely understand the freak out because, I mean, you had mild symptoms, you had a mild case, but there's still that lurking, like, could I have long COVID? So
here's the thing. I've lifted twice. I went for a bike ride this weekend. I have felt really good, but I worked an 11-hour day today and my butt is dragging. I am really exhausted. So, I didn't know that COVID fatigue was real, which I feel bad as a healthcare provider for saying that. What I do want to say, guys, is if you are not vaxxed and boosted, please get vaxxed and boosted, because I really sincerely believe the reason I wasn't sicker is because I was vaccinated and boosted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I have had a really awful cold and I slept a lot and I spent one entire day in bed.
And we will say that you did not catch this from your lovely boyfriend. He continued to test negative, and
right, lovely boyfriend didn't get it from me. That's the crazy thing.
You didn't get it from
Yeah, I have no idea where I got it. I have no idea. Maybe, I see a lot of patients. Some of them have COVID. We're all masked. I have started going to restaurants again, and when we get in and we're at our table, we unmask. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been very weird because, so my work has started to travel again. Where it's legislative session right now. And every single bill that is before our house is for health and social services. So,
oh, goodness gracious. So you're a busy lady.
Yes, most of them are public health related, of course, which they have been for the past 2 years. But everyone's been, testifying and everything via Zoom and Teams and everything. But this is the first year that we are all starting to get back together. So our wonderful Dr. Ann Zink has been coming down to testify in front of our legislature, and our director has come down, and now my boss and 3 of my coworkers have come down.
When she says come down, I'm in Anchorage. I'm way, way, way north of her, like 1,000 miles north, and people are coming down from Anchorage to Juneau, which is where our state capital is.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour plane ride between me and Dianne. So,
yeah.
So it's just basically the same thing as me going to Seattle. And
Seattle's more fun, let's be honest.
It is. So it was very, very weird today to be in a room full of coworkers that I haven't seen in person for 2 years. And none of us were masked.
Including Dr. Zink?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everyone in the room is vaxxed and boosted.
So I work at a company where we're all vaxxed and boosted, and we still are required to mask, and our patients are required to mask. And I'm okay with that.
I can see that in a patient setting. I can see that. Yeah, but I still, other than this, like being with my quote unquote coworkers, like when I leave our floor, the floor that I work on for work, I still mask. Like when I have to walk through another building to kind of get to my building, I still mask when I walk through that building and go into that elevator. And, so, I mean, it's not totally over, but it's just, it was very, very weird to be in a room of like 10 people today. And it was a very large room. Like it's one entire, like the conference room is like one entire wing of that side of the building. But, we were sitting less than 6 feet apart, but it's very, very weird to kind of almost be normal again, especially like knowing that you just got COVID last week. Like it's still here.
Yeah. That said, like I said, folks, please vax, boost, mask when appropriate. COVID's not done with us.
And if they recommend a 4th shot, I'm going to get a 4th shot.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I get my flu shot every year. So, yeah.
Preach!
Yeah.
All right.
Just
you mentioned
tap that vein.
You mentioned travel, so I wanted to say a couple of things about travel. So I am going to be traveling in April, and I'm going to be traveling in May. So I'm going to take our really screwed up podcasting schedule and screw it up a little more.
And I'll be traveling in June.
Oh,
so
well,
here
there
we
you
are.
go. And I think we're going to resurrect The Real Housewives because I watched the funniest movie this past weekend called The Death of Stalin. It was made in 2018. It is hilarious, and I want Marnell to watch it so we can podcast it.
You wouldn't think from the title, would you?
Oh my God. I know I wouldn't, and Rob had to do a pretty hard sell, but I fell in love with it. It is a really funny movie. There are definitely some moments of awful. Don't get me wrong. We're talking about Stalinist Russia. We're talking about the Soviet Union, but damn, it's funny.
So, if we're like Diane said, we're going to try and resurrect The Real Housewives. So if that is something that interests you, go watch. Where did we say we found it? On
I think it's on Prime.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And it's completely appropriate given what's happening in Eastern Europe right now. Say no more, say no more. All right. Goods, bads, and uglies. Because you told me I had to rein us in.
Yeah, and here we are talking about travel and weight belts.
And we didn't talk about weight belts.
Oh, no, sorry, not weight belts.
Singlets.
What is it called? Singlets, thank you. You lift weights and it's a belt and like it seems great. Anyway. All right.
You go first.
I go first because I rated first.
Yep.
So my good this episode was I absolutely love shipping Mercer and Princess.
Ah!
And that whole scene was adorable. I loved it. From like Princess already being dressed like a princess, that was cute.
Yes.
Mercer was amazing.
Yes.
And the whole like
like him
taking the velvet rope and
offering his arm. Yes.
And the guy being like, name, and Mercer's like, she's with me, and like there's a dress code. And I'm thinking, okay, you're at a masquerade ball and she is in a princess dress. Like, I get it. It's not Vera Wang, but like, and I love that he just like, tightened up his arm and looked the guy squarely in the face.
Yes.
And then I don't know if you watched Talking Dead, but they did mention in Talking Dead that like absolutely loved that like they got in there and she immediately ditched him for her friends. I'm sure like they had a better night after that, but like she was like hi and just like kind of ran off.
I am hoping that we continue to get the Princess Mercer story, because I will tell you now, it was my good ugly.
Awesome.
Because I was just like, oh, a little bit of happiness, and it's so sweet. And, the big giant dude offering his arm to the girl, I kind of have that in my life right now, and it's pretty awesome. So...
Well, and we had talked about this way back when she was the distraction, and she was like, oh, you work out, or,
right.
Yeah. And we were all like, oh God, I hope that's not fake. I hope that's real, because they're adorable together.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that this is coming to fruition, and it looks like a very good start. And I have the belief that, Mercer's one of the good guys. In fact, I have a big theory we will talk about later.
And we deserve a relationship that turns out.
Right?
I mean, let's look at just look at things for a few minutes here.
Oh, come on. Let's give them plot armor. I want these two to have their own spin-off
I
show.
agree, because let me tell you, Lori and Carl, not Carl, Lori and Rick and Michonne, Carol and Daryl, never happened. Maggie and Glenn beat his head in with a baseball bat. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. Yeah.
Carl and Enid, and then Enid and
Alden. Yeah.
There was a hilarious thing on Twitter the other day that not the other day, of course, a few weeks ago, after the death of Alden, where it was Enid like hugging Alden in heaven or whatever, and Carl standing back and being like, foiled again.
Yeah, so we deserve a good relationship. So yeah. It is absolutely my good ugly, and it's your good. So
the whole thing played out amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So what was your good?
My good was that I love Halloween. Even a sad Pamela Milton stained affair, I love Halloween. I think that's one of the reasons that I liked this episode so much.
Yeah.
And there was some other stuff kind of in the not campy kids Halloween, but in the Halloween theme. Like, I felt like them going through the training with Daryl and Rosita going through the training with the walkers. That was totally suspenseful and very Halloween appropriate. And it's the first time in a long time that I've felt that kind of suspense with walkers. I was pretty sure Rosita was going to bite it.
Okay, so was it just me, or did these zombies seem faster and stronger?
They definitely seemed stronger. You know my theory about fast zombies. I don't think they were particularly faster, but they were definitely stronger.
They seemed to have a quicker reaction time. They weren't like, very... They were just a lot sharper. They weren't
like lurkers. Yeah, they weren't lurkers.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, is that like maybe a difference of they're fresher and they're like well-fed Commonwealth people that just like couldn't get a kidney transplant in time or something?
Couldn't get their cancer operated on.
They were patient 148.
Yeah.
Yes, you know me, I love Halloween. If I could only celebrate one holiday, it would be Halloween. It would not be Christmas. It wouldn't be any of the others.
You
Love me some
you and
Halloween.
me both, sister. The
Yeah.
same. Well, boyfriend's birthday and Halloween. Can I have two?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you for being generous.
Like I'm one of those bitches that buys all of their home decor in October.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I have a giant spider mirror in the room that I am in right now. So
That's
I mean,
awesome.
love me some Halloween. That I bought at Halloween, by the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I do have to say one of our dates last fall was we met at the Spirit of Halloween store because I couldn't visit him because his 17-year-old was staying with him and the 17-year-old thinks I'm the devil. So
that's very Halloween-y.
So we literally met at the Halloween store and like knocked around for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so just to spend a little bit of time together. And he got a couple of Halloween things. So
I have had worse dates with dinner and a movie.
Right?
I would love to go to Spirit Halloween as a date.
Right?
That sounds amazing.
I'm telling you, I love this dude. I'm ridiculous for this dude.
That's funny.
All right.
So keeping in the spirit of Halloween, so the zombie in the haunted house at the beginning.
Wait a minute, is that your bad or are you just commenting
No.
on okay.
Just commenting on, you're good.
Okay.
Did it remind you of anything?
It's been several days since I watched the episode and I can't say I wrote anything down about it.
Okay, and so I'm going to have to go and listen to a couple other podcasts and maybe do some reading because I cannot be the only one that thought of Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So, like, for, anybody out there who has never seen the video before, they're zombies, and they're at, like, the very end of the video, like, he kind of pops up and, is his normal self and he laughs it off and because his girlfriend gets too scared. And that whole scene where Daryl's like, hey, man, that's enough, and the guy's like, oh, yeah, my bad, man.
Yeah.
Completely
Thriller-esque. That's awesome.
That's immediately where my mind went. I cannot be the only one that thought that. So please give us your feedback. Did you, am I crazy or was that Thriller?
And after you watch the video of Thriller on YouTube, please treat yourself to the mashup of Thriller and the song Heads Will Roll that was done on Glee because it's awesome.
Oh, I'm going to have to find that.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
I'm not a big Glee person, but TikTok has made
it.
me a mashup person.
It's the best mashup I've ever heard.
My ringtone is actually an unpublished Lana Del Rey song mixed with Coolio.
Oh my God.
Gangsta Paradise. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right.
What's your bad?
So love volunteers, especially ones who look like that. Really? Even in the apocalypse, we can't get away from toxic masculinity.
Are you just that comment or Sebastian in general? Because Sebastian is pretty horrible.
Sebastian in general,
yeah.
But okay, so Chris Hardwick made the point on because the actor who plays Sebastian was on Talking Dead.
So I'm sure he was like, hate the character, not the actor.
Well, and he's like, there's this weird thing that like the worse the character is on the show, the more kind and amazing the person is in real life.
Nice.
And it's totally, totally true.
Nice.
And so, yeah, again, hate the character, not the actor. But yeah, I was just like, oh my God, they are doing such a good job making him squicky.
Really loathsome.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. So I just
go ahead.
The look on Rosita's face was just like all of us women.
I feel especially bad doubling down on Sebastian now. But my thing, it was actually Daryl and Sebastian. It really bothered me that Daryl turned Tyler over to Sebastian.
100%.
I thought it was really uncharacteristic for Daryl because Daryl is not cruel and Sebastian is intensely cruel. And Daryl knew that Sebastian would be cruel to that kid.
So the only thing I can think of is that I have a feeling that, the first season or episode 10, I'm sorry, 9, the first episode of 11B, they left us off with, it looks like, Daryl has joined the dark side. He's in a stormtrooper suit and he's like, kind of squaring off with Maggie. And I really think they are leading up to some sort of Daryl's a big turncoat, and so he has to get in with Sebastian. And he saw that earlier that him embarrassing Sebastian in front of his mom was not going down very well. And he also failed the test with Mercer. And so he has to do something to get his foot in the door of this whole situation. And so, and unfortunately for Tyler, that was the way to do it.
Daryl is not the type to curry favor.
He is when there's an ulterior motive. I mean, look what he did with the Reapers. Like, he totally got in with the Reapers and, like, hunted his own people, Like, I see it. I see Daryl being the turncoat. He's just trying to get in with the in crowd so that he can destroy them from within.
Okay. I'll let you have that and we'll see where it goes.
But poor Tyler, man. I mean, I agree with the man. Eat the rich.
Well, so did you notice that the Motorhead song that was played had the lyrics of Eat the Rich, which was totally appropriate?
Yep.
Okay, I am going to be kind of snarky, kind of nasty, and say I'm giving you our 10-minute warning.
Okay.
And I said my ugly already. We need to know your ugly, whether it is good or bad. And then we should do some stuff out of Rotting Potpourri.
So my ugly was good. I really like this episode. The only reason why I think I rated it low is I really think that I'm going to like a lot of the episodes this season. So there's not a whole lot of room to go up. And I may even revise my rating because this was a really good episode. My ugly was the lotto tickets.
And so do you think that is, I mean, the way that I interpreted the lotto tickets was, this is your way to get up and out of the stews.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. And so my mind always goes back to every grade B horror movie, post-apocalyptic lottery that it's never good. It's never a good thing. Like post-apocalyptic settlements like this are never good. But I mean, at least we did see last year's lotto winners, and I kind of think of like The Running Man, where it's like last year's winners. No, right. There's never a winner. But there's actually a movie, and I think it's actually called The Lottery.
Yeah, it's based on a short story, and I can't remember the name of the author.
Yeah,
Shirley Jackson.
The winner of the lottery, like, gets sacrificed. They like stone them to death, and it's to keep like their population low or some crazy like.
Yeah, it's like, based on a story by Shirley Jackson. It's an old story.
Winning a post-apocalyptic lottery is not all it's cracked up to be. I'm just saying.
Well, and
we saw the. We saw the winner at the table in a nice dress and everything, but I kind of,
what happened to her after the banquet?
Right? Is this like, oh, Yeah, and I have to think that people who are this dang snooty, the wine is not good enough and your dress is not good enough, and all of these other things, like people that like are at the top of this caste system are, I mean, I don't think they're ever going to accept somebody who's a lotto winner, I mean, you may have a few other lotto winners over the years and you may form your own little clique, but I have a feeling that people like Pamela and Sebastian would never truly accept those people.
Nah, they trot her out, they dress her up, they do her in.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know, like she has to like have some sort of, there's got to be some sort of terrible trade-off or so, I don't know. Like, it's not good. The lottery is not good and I love it.
Okay, I am going to look through my writing potpourri and I'm going to pick something that I really love, or a couple of somethings that I really love. I love Ezekiel giving Shiva's leash to Jerry's kid. And he gave something away at the end of the episode also. And I was like, so a
box of Henry's
Yes,
items.
He gave it to Carol, and I was like, this is Ezekiel preparing to die.
Yeah.
Ezekiel knows his time is limited and he's giving things away.
Yeah, and the thing that it also made me think of is this was a very like kid family centric thing that they did earlier in the day with the bobbing for apples and the trick-or-treating
and the petting zoo
and the petting zoo and everything like that. And we saw Carol with cookies, and Carol with cookies around kids ends terribly, and we just had to be reminded of Henry, like all I could think was like, poor Sam, poor Henry, like yeah.
Okay,
good
your turn.
Callback.
Your turn.
So Carol, this episode, I absolutely loved her going into the hospital.
Oh, she's still so crafty, stealing the keys and
the bump and grab, and she even had flowers. What a great touch! That I'm just a kindly old lady bringing my friend flowers, And then when she gets into the room and she's totally busted, she's like, I'm snooping.
Yeah. And she was busted by Yumiko's brother, who got pressed into working as a physician.
Right.
And who is really unhappy about it.
Very, very unhappy. I don't think he cared if the wine was good or not.
So this kind of leads in, your thing kind of leads into a question that I have. What else do you think Hornsby is going to ask Carol to do?
Nothing good.
Right. I mean, I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah. So he already, he made the point to be like, oh, you found a way outside the wall, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, is he going to send her on missions for contraband? Is he going to make her a spy? I mean, the man is a ladder climber. He's a social climber. He wants to be the star. Did you see how he reacted when everyone started cheering and clapping on the red carpet and he thought it was for him? Mm-hmm. And it turns out it was for Mercer. Mm-hmm. That was great. Oh. Okay, so why do you really think that Judith wanted to keep the receipt for the record?
I actually thought that she was going to turn it back and get the money back for it. So I was really shocked.
Me too.
And the other thing is, Marn, how on earth does she know how to work a record player?
Didn't Daryl got the record player for her? Wouldn't
he got the record player? He got the record player for her, but it showed her putting the record on and putting the I don't even remember what you call it, the arm with the needle on, and I was like, no. I could see Daryl knowing how to work a record player and showing her, but they needed to show me that. They were showing her knowing exactly how to use it.
Okay, well, last episode we were complaining about the mysterious rope that Aaron was able to affix to something and climb out. So I totally believe that Judith could magically know how to use a record player.
Well,
especially
she
since
is.
It's possible that like maybe Oceanside had one, maybe Hilltop had one. I could totally see one in Hilltop.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with that. I could totally see one in Alexandria. Actually, Alexandria was the most advanced of all of the.
Dude, I could see CD players in Alexandria. I mean, they had hot and cold running water, so
right.
Yeah. So, like, I don't have a whole lot other than some snarky comments about Gabe wearing his hat again.
Oh, I think Gabe and Rosita have broken up.
Oh, I think so too.
The whole thing about, oh, well, you can come over and pick her up after your shift is done or whatever. I was like, Gabe and Rosita are not a thing anymore, and there were and no big thing was made about it.
Yeah. I think that they broke up a while ago. I don't think they've been a thing for a while.
They made such a thing about it being a thing. They should have made the breakup a thing too.
Maybe they don't know it's not a thing. Like maybe it's just like one of those things where it's like we're in a weird place and we don't know what we are. I mean, because that totally happens in real life. So
it does. It does.
Yeah.
I did. Go ahead.
The last thing that I have is: did you notice the envelopes full of cash that were kind of being passed around or collected?
What's that about?
Yeah, that's super weird. Got to take note of that. That's gonna be relevant in the future, I imagine.
You're right. So, did you notice that Stephanie was actually Max? And the Stephanie that we saw is not the Stephanie that Eugene knows?
So we talked about this.
I know, we've talked about it, but I mean, it was like totally in your face this time.
Yeah. And, on Talking Dead, they kind of pointed out that, like, what do you think that she meant when Tyler was holding her hostage? And she's like, I'm one of you. Did she mean I'm one of you as in I'm just a lowly peasant too?
That's how I read it.
Or did she mean I'm one of you and we should burn the system down and eat the rich?
No, I think it was more I'm a lowly peasant too.
So here is my bold prediction that I talked about in the beginning of the episode.
Okay, and your bold prediction is what we're going out on, baby.
Okay, so I kind of have, like, I kind of think that, like, everyone's kind of in on it, at the end when we see them, I think it's probably breaking into Tyler's sister's place and finding all of the posters and, the basically, burn the system down and take no prisoners or whatever, eat the rich. I kind of, like, of course Tyler was in on it. I kind of have a feeling that this like Max or whatever her name is maybe in on it. And my bold prediction is I think Mercer is heading it up. I think he is the head of the resistance in the Commonwealth.
Interesting.
Yep.
I'd be cool with that. So would Princess.
Me too. Yep. He's too much of a good guy. Like, yeah.
Ooh, sorry.
What a good way to go out.
Oh my god. Go on, mouse. Well, everybody, yes, I still have the same 3 hoodlums. All right, well, I will probably get this put up Thursday. Today is Tuesday. Because I have to go lift tomorrow if I'm not dead. So... And it's deadlifting night, which is my favorite night, so...
Deadlifting if you're not dead.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, which we hope will be more regularly scheduled.
Yes. Thank you again, Phil.
Yes, thank you, Phil.
Hi, Phil's coworkers. All right. Until next week, we hope. Just remember,
Take it one dead day
at
at a time.
Yeah, StreamYard sucked.